Warhammer for Americans!
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are walking onto the gridiron of the 41st millennium for what might be the most expensive high-stakes duel in the Imperium's entire playbook.
This is a big one.
Oh, yeah. We're pitting pure, terrifying Imperial firepower against, cosmic reality-warping resilience. It's just, wow.
This deep dive is dedicated to one single perfect moment of warfare. We are calculating the probability of whether the ultimate Titan killer, the Shadowsword, can completely vaporize a C-10 shard of Nightbringer in one shooting phase.
That's the mission right there. One tank, one salvo, one Dead Star God. This isn't just a tough shot. This is like taking out the opposing team's defensive star. You know, the one player everyone assumes is untouchable with a single massive blitz.
The challenge, as anyone familiar with the Necrons knows, is that the Nightbringer isn't made of simple flesh or even simple steel. It's protected by ancient rules and, well, fundamentally alien physics.
So it's not just about hitting it hard enough.
Exactly. For the Shadowsword to succeed, it requires the best possible positioning, maximum support, and a perfect storm of rule interactions.
And we have run the numbers, we've checked the data sheets, we've calculated the probabilities, and we found the exact percentage chance of success under, the absolute best conditions.
It is not 100%.
Oh, definitely not. But it is high enough to make any Necron overlord pretty nervous. And we will unveil that exact percentage right at the end of this deep dive.
Okay, let's unpack this. We should probably start with the two players on the field.
Let's do it. Let's start with the big hammer, the Shadowsword. I mean, this thing is the definition of Imperial over-engineering. It is built on that ubiquitous and utterly reliable Baneblade chassis, but it strips out most of the other stuff to mount one thing.
The MKIV Phaeton pattern volcano cannon.
Boom! Yeah. Its whole identity is that weapon. This tank isn't designed for, sitting on the front line. It's designed to hunt and destroy enemy titans.
War engines that are leagues beyond the size of the Shadowsword itself. It is a dedicated long-range assassin.
The lore behind it is just fascinating, especially the cannon. We hear about the sonic boom of the main gun, but the whole firing process is almost like a ritual, isn't it?
It is entirely reliant on its support structure. The volcano cannon drains all power from the tank's main drive capacitors to fire.
All of it.
All of it. That means the engine must be disconnected, and a dedicated engine seer has to start a 2-minute process of recharging the entire system.
Whoa. So it's one shot, then you're just a sitting duck for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Vulnerable. Completely stationary.
You're relying on lighter vehicles to keep the enemy from just crashing your flank. It's a terrifying constraint.
It's the ultimate glass cannon strategy. You commit everything to that one shot, and if you miss, well, you've basically parked a massive 400-point hunk of metal right in the enemy's face.
Now, let's look at the target.
Okay, let's talk about this.
We are aiming at a C-10 shard of the Nightbringer. And to understand the threat, you have
Catan, C-10, I don't know.
to understand the history. This is Azagorod, the inevitable blade, one of the original star gods, the C-10, that literally devoured stars in the primordial universe.
So is this why we see all that imagery of, spectral figures and the Scythe of Death everywhere, the Grim Reaper?
Precisely. That iconography, the Cowl of Shadows, the Reaper motif, that is the lingering psychic shadow the Nightbringer casts across thousands of developing sentient races.
That's unsettling.
And even as a mere fragment, a shard, its presence causes the very essence of life to just bleed away around it.
And these things are only controlled now because the Necrons managed to trap them, right?
They did. The shard is bound by what are called necrodermal bindings, living metal constructs, designed to cage a fragmented consciousness that is fundamentally immortal and alien. The Necrons, in essence, have imprisoned a chaotic force of nature and forced it to act as a weapon.
So we have this physical mountain, the Shadowsword, against a literal spectral nightmare. Let's talk scale for a second. The Shadowsword is huge, right? A true super heavy.
It is a Leviathan. The confirmed weight, after a lot of conflicting reports, is 316 tons. It's 13.5 meters long, 6.3 meters high.
316 tons. That's a colossal piece of machinery. But when you put it next to a cosmic entity, does physical mass even matter? Is the Shadowsword's cannon barrel even longer than the Nightbringer is tall?
And that is the philosophical divide in this duel. The Shadowsword is a mountain of armor and steel, a physical quantifiable threat. The Nightbringer, though, is a creature of pure energy given a physical vessel. Its scale can warp. Its defense isn't thick armor. It's its ability to exist outside of natural law.
So it's like trying to use a huge defensive tackle to stop a ghost running interference?
An excellent analogy.
Okay, that distinction is key. Let's stop talking lore and start talking probability.
Ooh.
We need to build the perfect setup, the game-winning play, to maximize this 316-ton battering ram.
We are setting the stage for maximum efficiency.
First, positioning. We're assuming the Shadowsword is 12 inches away, so everything is in range. And crucially, the C-10 is exposed. No benefit of cover.
And for the tank, we assume two essential conditions are met. First, the Shadowsword is stationary, which activates the heavy rule on its main gun, granting a +1 to the hit roll.
And the second one, this requires a huge commitment, is the presence of Lord Solar Leontis issuing the take aim command.
Correct. The take aim order grants another +1 to the ballistic skill. The Shadowsword's base BS is a 4+ wound. With both buffs, we improve that twice.
Meaning the tank will be hitting the Star God on an unmodified 2+ sin.
Yes.
A 2+ hit chance. That's almost a guaranteed connection.
With the volcano cannon, which has heavy, but the other weapons hits on 3+.
So the Imperium is doing everything it can to make sure that shell gets to the target. Now, what is that shell trying to punch through?
The Nightbringer is formidable. It has 16 wounds and toughness 11. It has a 4+ invulnerable save, which means all incoming armor penetration is just ignored. On top of that, it has necrodermis, reducing all incoming damage by 1 down to a minimum of 1.
And wait, even if we get past all that, there's one more layer of defense, isn't there?
There is a 5+ feel no pain ability against all damage, including the dreaded mortal wounds. This is why it's one of the most resilient units in the game. It is designed to survive attacks that should, by all rights, just vaporize it.
Okay, I see the wall. Let's start the sequence. We open.
Like 4+ invulnerable save, so half of the attacks are just removed. Then reducing damage with 1, that's painful. And then it ignores a third of the damage. It's crazy. And 16 wounds.
Open fire, secondary weapons first.
We have to remember the secondary weapons are just distraction here. Pinning fire. We start with the two twin heavy flamers. They're torrent weapons, so they auto-hit, generating about 7 shots.
Sounds good so far.
But their strength 5 is brutally inadequate against toughness 11. They only wound on a 6+ C. And even if they do, their damage 1 is reduced by necrodermis.
Down to 0. Okay,
No,
so they do
to
nothing,
1.
just making
The necrodermis is reducing 1 damage, but to minimum 1.
noise. PFFFT.
High velocity noise, nothing more.
All right, let's step it up. Next, the 3 twin heavy bolters. 9 shots, hitting on that 2+ fall. They wound on 6s, but they have twin linked, giving us rerolls, and sustained hits 1.
They generate a few more wounds because of those rules. Their damage 2 is reduced to damage 1 by necrodermis. After all the saves and the math, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 actual wounds chipped off the 16.
1 or 2. Minimal, but not 0. I'll take it. Now for the 4 less cannons. These are anti-tank weapons. 4 shots, hitting on 2+3, wounding on a 3+ sing. They hit hard, D6 +1 damage.
And here's the roadblock. Their impressive AP of -3 is completely nullified by the Nightbringer's 4+ invulnerable save.
Wait, what?
They are wounding efficiently, yes, but the Star God essentially ignores the armor penetration and still makes that 4+ save. A large percentage of the shots just disappear.
You are telling me 4 powerful, dedicated anti-tank weapons are basically worthless against this thing because its defense isn't physical armor, but some kind of psychic shield. That feels wrong.
It is the reality of fighting ancient alien technology. The Nightbringer demands a weapon that can ignore conventional defenses.
Which brings us to the main event, the volcano cannon,
Oh
the
my
centerpiece, the
Yeah.
game winner.
This weapon fires D3 +1 attacks. Let's average it to about 2.5 shots, hitting on that crucial 2+ sign. Its strength is 24. Against toughness 11, that means it wounds on a spectacular 2+0.
A 2+ to wound, and the damage is 12. That's enough to wreck almost anything.
Yeah.
But how do we get it past that pesky 4+ invulnerable save?
This is where the whole strategy pays off. Because of its specific role, the Titan Killer ability triggers when firing at a monster, which the Nightbringer is. This grants the Volcano Cannon the Devastating Wounds ability.
Devastating wounds. Okay, explain for everyone listening what that means here, because this is it. This is the critical rule that flips the whole duel.
Devastating Wounds converts all successful wound rolls, which we established happen on a 2+ immediately into mortal wounds.
And mortal wounds.
Do not interact with the target's armor save or its invulnerable save. They just happen. The armor becomes completely irrelevant.
So we've stripped away its entire layered defense system. The 4+ invuln, the T11, the necrodermis. all ignored instantly.
Correct. We have forced the Nightbringer to rely on its absolute last line of defense, that 5+ feel no pain roll. The Necrodermis damage reduction is irrelevant, as these are fixed damage.
No.
Every
So there is if there is some devastating wound, it do 12 damage -1 for Necrodermis.
wound from the
To
volcano
11.
cannon now deals D12 mortal wounds.
Which it has to try and ignore
Damage
one by
12,
one on a
I
5+
mean, yeah.
cent. Wow, that is focused firepower. We've gone from chipping away 2 wounds to hitting a soft spot with a nuclear pile driver.
So after the secondary weapons do maybe 2-3 wounds, the volcano cannon fires its 2.5 shots, aiming to inflict the remaining 13-14 wounds purely through massive D12 mortal wounds.
What's the final verdict? Under these perfect, highly optimized conditions stationary, take aim, infect, hitting on 2s, what is the percentage chance that the Shadowsword completely annihilates the C'tan shard of the Nightbringer in one phase?
The precise calculation shows the Shadowsword has an approximate 40% chance of success.
40%? 40. That's a significant chance to one-shot a Star God. It tells us the Imperium's specialized gear, when you use it exactly right, can actually do the impossible. It's a risk, but it's a real shot.
It is tangible, yes. But let's pause and consider the cost.
Oh no, I worry about the resource analysis because 40% sounds good, but we had to bring in a lot of moving parts to get there.
A lot. The Shadowsword itself costs 410 points. But to get that crucial +1 ballistic skill, we absolutely needed Lord Solar Leontis on the field. He costs 130 points.
So the total Imperial investment is
540 points.
540 points. And the target, the C'tan, only costs 315 points. Wait a minute. You're dedicating 540 points of your army for a 40% chance to kill a 315-point unit. That seems strategically unsound. That's a huge overcommitment.
That is the essential cold truth of the calculation. The Shadowsword is designed to hunt targets far more expensive than the Nightbringer, like Titans that cost 600, 700 points. Against its intended prey, a 40% chance is an excellent investment. Against the Nightbringer, it's inefficient.
You're gambling more than 1,000 points for a coin toss that still favors failure. And if that 40% fails, if the Nightbringer lives, what happens?
If the Shadowsword fails, the Nightbringer survives the turn. And thanks to its ability, the Quantum Goad, it is guaranteed to get into your lines.
No, that's...
It can declare a charge even if it advanced,
So it's immediately charging you.
immediately engaging your
But in this example, the Shadowsword is within 12 inches, so it can, Nightbringer can charge, of course.
infantry and your precious Lord Solar Leontis in close combat.
Gulp. So not only did we waste 540 points, but now we have an angry space ghost god in our backfield ready to harvest souls. The consequences of failure are immediate and absolute.
They are. And remember, that 40% figure is the absolute best case.
Right, with the perfect setup. What if? What if the Shadowsword had been forced to move?
I think I understand that, yeah. So it averaged 3, the volcano cannon averaged 3 hits. Because it's 2+ to hit, 2+ to wound. And if we take 2 of those, 50% is saved with a vulnerable save. The other one is 12 damage, -1 is 11, and the third is removed, so like 7 wounds. And then we had the third one, and there is a 6th chance of any of these being devastating wounds. And the third one is like, if we see 50-50 being devastating wound. And that will do another 7. And then you rely on the last guns and heavy bolter and flamer to do a couple of wounds also. So it's like 50, yeah, 40% sounds reasonable.
You know, to get a better angle or dodge incoming fire.
If the Shadowsword had to move, it would lose the stationary bonus. Its hit chance drops back to a 3+ aside. Consequently, the one-shot probability drops dramatically.
How dramatic.
It's only about 16%.
16%. That's a terrifying drop-off. That's almost a guaranteed failure. It shows that the true victory
Like,
condition isn't the gun,
1 in
but the
6.
perfect application of those strategic buffs.
It does. And that raises a crucial question that you have to consider for your own tactics. Since we've established the Nightbringer is intensely resistant to high damage, high ATU attacks.
Yeah.
Because it ignores AP Wood as the counterplay.
We know that even the D12 damage of the volcano cannon is only saved on that 5+ feel no pain roll.
Exactly. So what Imperial unit, relying on a completely different strategy, maybe high volume, sustained, weak attacks that force a huge number of those 5+ feel no pain rolls, what might actually be a more economical way to take this thing down.
Oh, that's a brilliant thought experiment.
What's the optimal counter against a player who relies purely on that 5+ save? The high damage is overkill if it just keeps getting ignored.
Find the flaw in the enemy's system, not by bringing a bigger hammer, but by bringing 1,000 tiny ones. That's a whole deep dive in itself. Think about that as you consider your next army list.
Until the next deep dive, keep questioning your assumptions. Find those nuanced rule interactions that turn a 16% gamble into a 40% risk, or maybe a 70% certainty with different resources.
And may your stratagems always be optimally positioned. Thank you for joining us for this analysis of the 41st millennium's most expensive sniper shot.
Oh, pretty cool.